everybody. I'm Stacey J.
And I'm Chuck Duran.
Welcome to VO Buzz Weekly, the global web show all about the voiceover business.
That's right. Welcome to part 2 of the Disney legend, Bill Farmer.
Here we go.
Let's go.
So, Bill, what misconceptions from a teaching standpoint do you see with your students wanting to get into the business?
There's several. Probably the most common mistake is that people want to get into this business for the wrong reason. Not because they have a love of the craft. It's because they want to be a TV star. They want that 15 minutes of fame. They think it's a great, fun job, which it is, but they don't know of all the hard work that goes into it. Or they think that, well, everyone says that I have a good voice, so I'm going to be a voiceover guy. They don't even say actor.
Yeah.
And I've had people say, well, I just want to be a voiceover person. And have you ever had any acting classes? Well, I don't want to act, I just want to do voiceover. No, you are an actor. Whether there's a camera there or not, you are an actor. You have to portray a character. And it's a big shock to them quite often when they hear themselves for the first time on tape. And they think they're being this big character and over the top and this great sounding character. And without the acting, the performance is hollow. It just doesn't ring true. And you can hear that. And they can hear that if they have a good ear. And it just doesn't play. It's that, je ne sais quoi. I don't know what it is that makes a great actor. But it's in there. It's that bringing that character to life is probably the hardest part that people have to learn.
Yeah.
So do you teach a regular class? Do you private seminars? How can people find out about it?
I'm starting to teach. I'm going to be starting very soon online because people have asked me across the country. They'll write, how can I take classes?
To Skype with you. Yeah, that's
Skype,
a big thing now.
Teach it on Skype. My son, who went through LA recording school and is a drummer, he's a great drummer.
He rocks too.
Yes, he does. Yeah, he studied with people like Greg Bissonette, who was on tour with Ringo Starr.
Yeah, Greg played with everybody.
And a guy named Tony Pia, who was Brian Setzer's drummer, and he was on tour with the Doobie Brothers. Is also another teacher, and he and his band have played all places like the House of Blues, the Roxy, the El Rey Theater, all these big venues. So he's got a lot of stuff, and he's only 22.
That's fantastic.
A lot of stuff under his.
It's genetic.
Yes,
it is genetic.
Well, not the drumming. I can't.
But
he said, Dad, stay away from the drums. You'll hurt yourself.
You poke out your eye. No, but the work ethic and the craft and the respect for the discipline of it, I'm sure he comes by that.
Yeah. And I told him that, you're a drummer, so you're going to need something else for a while. And so he went through LA recording school and got Pro Tools certified. And so he's working with me with helping people develop and create their voiceover demos, people that want to get into the business, and, pros and beginners.
Yeah.
And we have done together probably 15, 20 demos, and it's just ramping up, and I'm getting much busier. I've produced demos for 20-some years, ever since the reel-to-reel days.
Sure.
But it's much easier with Pro Tools now. The old razor blade.
Oh, God. Yeah. I only did that once, but once was enough.
And your company is Toonhouse Inc.
Toonhouse.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
ToonhouseInc.com. And they can learn about me. And it's just, kind of a little cottage thing that I do in my spare time.
Yeah.
And it's starting to really snowball in the last few months.
Very
People
cool.
seem to enjoy what we've done, and we're getting better with each one. And not too bad. We've gotten about 50% of people have gotten agents, of new people that I've done have gotten agents as a result of it. So I guess that speaks.
Absolutely,
yeah. The demo is king. Say that all the time.
Yes. Got to have a good one. That's another thing that people need to know. You have to have the best demo possible because it's representing you. It has to be up against the Frank Welkers, the Jim Cummings, the Jess Harnells. You're putting yours up against theirs, and it's got to stand up and on the playing field with them.
Absolutely. And I tell them that all the time. I don't know if you know this, but I produce demos as well. I have for over 20 years, and I do the same thing with people, man. I mean, I put them out there and get them ready to actually do something, But I also turn down a lot of people that aren't ready to make demos.
You have to. You got to at least have them take some classes first.
Yes.
if they still feel that they want to, I will usually say, okay, but I'm warning you that...
Sign this paper, please.
Yeah. Because I don't
responsible.
always know that. I got
Yeah.
a director that recommended this guy, and he came in, and I thought this guy was terrible. So like kind of stoner, surfer dude kind of guy, could hardly read, yeah, okay, and say the word like touchy. Well, that's touche. Okay, okay. I get through this thing and I say, okay, but you sound like a stoner in the thing. Well, he went out and got like 4 nationals as a stupid surfer dude.
Wow.
If you wanted a stupid surfer dude, this is your guy. So there's niches that people can fit into, and if you can corner that niche, you can work.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
It happens. It happens.
Absolutely.
So what about the Mohos sketch comedy group that you're a part of?
That is a comedy group. I always recommend people doing a live performance venue if possible, because when you do stage work, you are, right out there.
Yeah.
And so sketch comedy groups, improv like the Groundlings, which I've also done, stand-up comedy, which I'll still dabble in. I still do speaking engagements for conventions and groups, even lunch groups, anything. You got to keep the live action going as much. That was the best training I ever had.
Yeah.
And you have to keep the juices flowing. You have to keep the creative juices going, because it is very much like being in shape or jogging, or, if you lay off of running for like 4 weeks and you go back out there and you run, you're going to feel it. You're going to be out of shape, and you say, I'm getting rusty. Voice is like that. To stay at the top level, you have to use all different venues that you can to keep yourself in shape. Yeah. And so, the Mohos is a great comedy group that we perform.
Not to be mistaken with Mojitos.
No. And we
That's a
perform
whole
down at
different kind of
Second
group.
City Theater. We usually put on a play a month. We write sketches, get together, perform them, and just put it up in front of the public and see what happens. So it's a lot of fun.
That's cool,
That's a lot of fun.
That's great.
really
Well, it'll be
cool.
fun for people to get to see you perform live. So we can find all that information on your website?
Yes. I always put up what I'm going to be doing in the next couple of months, and kind of update that from... I'm not as good as I should be.
Yeah.
And I just got the domain name. I had billfarmer.com, which I'm in the process of putting up. I have toonhouseinc.com, but billfarmer.com will talk more about what I do, kind of on a, where I perform, the classes, and the
because you should. You're a
stuff.
freaking legend, for God's sakes.
Well, because you've got
I might as well.
billfarmer.net right now,
Yes,
right?
I did.
So,
And that's I just did that on my iWeb thing. I'm just kind of playing with it and putting it up myself.
That's good.
And putting, here's a picture of my dog,
And when you're
But
at your level, people want to see pictures of your dog. People don't care about
what
my dog.
kind of
I don't
dog
have a
does
dog,
Zoofy
but if I
have?
did, they wouldn't care about it. But they care about your dog, Bill.
yeah. Well, but also, and I was going to ask you, you've seen so many different trends in the business, and now, the social media and the web presence, that's so big for a voice actor now. So kind of in that vein, and also just what you think about, what do you think it takes for someone to be successful in the industry today?
It kind of takes diversity. It takes perseverance more than anything to keep plugging away. My wife has had kind of a parallel career in show business, in the fact that she was a script supervisor for 20 years, and she does started on Beverly Hills 90210 when it was like a first season, the first year of that way back then. And got into doing this. She's done movies, she's done television shows. We have a little film production business. We've done about 15 documentaries for charities around Los Angeles, like Habitat for Humanity, Make-A-Wish Foundation, stuff. Ann Douglas Center, which is a great story. We're going to be shooting another. Ann Douglas is Kirk Douglas's wife. They help support the women's side of the LA mission. We did this demo of this film we wanted to do. We sent it to Ann Douglas. Kirk Douglas called us up and said, I want to be in your movie.
Wow.
And we're saying, well, we need a name. No, but we sure. So we go down to Beverly Hills in his office and film him, and it was just, oh my gosh, there's like Hollywood royalty.
Yeah.
So
cool.
exciting.
That's
so
fabulous.
you just have to kind of get yourself out there doing whatever you can, see what sticks.
Absolutely. And something will stick eventually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us about some of your current projects, man.
Current projects, you know, a lot of things, at least with Disney, I never know from week to week.
Right.
It's like, I'm the last to know. They call me up, oh, we need you next Tuesday. So it's kind of like, you know, I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, cancel that
Now,
vacation.
I've got a couple of series that are in production, though. We're doing Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, which is in its 5th season. We're kind of winding that up. That's been on the air daily since 2006, so that's been a great thing.
Wow, that's good.
We're doing another one called Mickey Mouse Shorts, which are kind of short-form cartoons. We have one on now called Have a Laugh, where we've been actually looping a lot of the old Disney cartoons from the 30s and 40s, and doing them in like the short attention span theater, so they're only 3 or 4 minutes long.
Yeah, short attention span theater.
And I got cast in an upcoming project called the 7D, which is it's kind of like the Seven Dwarves, but it's done by the people that do the show Fish Hooks. So it has a totally different look.
Yeah.
I'm Doc in that, and we have a stellar cast. We have Billy West and Kevin Michael Richardson, Steve Stanton, Billy West. We said Maurice LaMarche. I'm trying to remember who else. It's been a while. We did the pilot a year ago March, so it's been like 15 months ago. And then they've been retooling it and stuff, and now they're doing some more casting for some of the incidental characters.
Nice.
And so we hopefully will be starting that soon. But like I say, I never know when this stuff starts up. It's like, Bill, they need you next Tuesday.
Okay.
And of course, doing more demos. And I am doing some personal appearances. I'm going on the Disney cruise ship to do a couple of speeches in September on the new Disney Fantasy, which is always fun.
I hear that's a beautiful ship.
And Disney's been so great because they used to take us all the time to Walt Disney World, and we do radio interviews. And we do as many as 300 a week. Just boom, tables after table after table as the characters. They teach us, they just treat us great, and the cruise ships are great. I went on the Celebrity Cruise, the very first, the Magic and the Wonder on their inaugural cruises. They had radio on that, and they had Paul Harvey doing the news. We got to meet him.
Oh, that's cool.
We got to see Michael Eisner on a lifeboat drill, which that in itself is worth. And you meet all sorts of strange, great characters. I was on their Castaway Key, which is their island that they have, and it was on the Celebrity Cruise, and I met one of the DJs, and he's down by the water. He says, "Oh, Bill, how are you? I want you to meet, this is George Lucas." And it was George Lucas, and he was playing with his daughter there in the water's edge, and he was very shy. "Oh, hi, George Lucas." I know. I'm Bill Farmer, do the voice of Goofy. And it's so funny, as we walked away, I heard George Lucas say to the little girl, "Did you know who that was? That was the voice of Goofy." And I'm going, "Do you know who that was? That was George Lucas."
If you need an Ewok, sir, I'm available.
Exactly.
I'll fit in the suit, all scrunched in.
And it's amazing who you get to meet and work with over the years. A lot of celebrities, and that's always fun because most of them, and that's what the best thing about voiceover is, that the actors in voiceover are not there to draw attention to themselves. They don't need to be on camera, the center of attention.
Right.
They're glad for your successes. They're there to play, and because they love the craft. And so when you do get with them, you just have a blast.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing anything else.
Yeah. What do you still hope to accomplish in your career?
Oh, gosh. I think Goofy needs a star on the Walk of Fame. That's what. Goofy doesn't have one yet. And Donald has one. He's got his feet.
Does have one. That's right.
Yes.
And Mickey, I think Minnie does. We need Goofy to have one. Yeah.
Okay, everybody, get out there and write.
Start writing to the who did they write to
Goofy
for that?
needs a star.
Is there a website?
Maybe a Nobel Prize.
Yes.
Let's see. Let's have peace.
There's your prize.
Oh my God! I have to ask you, man. What are some? Because I know that you have, because we all have. What are some odd jobs that you've had before you got into the entertainment business?
One I never talk about was this actually preceded goofy. It's like when I first came out here and I didn't have any money, and there was an audition that came up. They wanted a Ronald Reagan for some video. And so I go in and audition, and I'm, well, you know, I was doing the Ronald, well, And they said, oh, that'll be great. And so I booked the job, and they said, but you're not going to be talking. And I, what? You'll just look like Ronald Reagan. Oh, no. And I'm going, I need the cash. What? Maybe it'll be a neat prosthetic thing. That'll be fun. So I go down there, and it was a guy who looked like Gorbachev. He was a Gorbachev lookalike, and he had this fake rock band called Gorby and the Red Hots.
Oh, my God.
And it was,
no.
As I understand, it was like financed by a Japanese or overseas company, and it was on a soundstage down there in Culver City, and they had an entire soundstage made up like a giant maze, like a rat would run through, two of them. And they shot me from Fargo, and it was terrible make. It was just like bad grease paint and a bad wig. And I was like 100 yards from the camera, and I'm like, well, and I was kind of wandering around in this maze, and the Gorbachev was over here doing, and then this was pre...
what did you like meet in the middle and box each other or something?
Oh, they were gonna, and they shot all this stuff, and then they had the band up there doing this weird song, and then they had a wrecking ball with a Gorbachev character. It was a stuntman, and he smashed through the Berlin Wall. So this is right before it actually happened. And then all of these people come out and start singing this stupid song. And they had all these celebrity lookalikes there. They had a Sigourney Weaver lookalike. They had the guy that looked like the Pope. And they had, of the celebrities, they had Angeline. Now, if you know Angeline from the big billboards all through the 80s and stuff like that.
Billboards.
She still, I don't know what she
like
does.
She's like 95.
And she was up close. She wasn't that.
That is quite an A-list.
So I had to do a scene. And this is like one of those out-of-body experiences where you think, what the hell am I doing?
How much am I getting paid?
And I had as Ronald Reagan, I had to hold Angeline's leg and kind of look, well, lasciviously at Angeline. And while they're singing this stupid song. Long story short, and they were shooting on 35, they shot. And the production company, the people that invested, shafted them. They just took off.
Oh, no.
I guess they didn't like the dailies or something. Took off, stuck this production company for like $200,000 or $300,000. They disappeared. The production company, we can't pay you. We're like bankrupt, So I never got paid. I learned that lesson about, and that's one of the only times that's ever happened. But it's a great experience. It was a lot of fun. It's always those bad experiences you remember.
You need some of those.
Oh, yeah. They're the ones you talk about.
Yes. That's a great story. You probably drive by those Angeline billboards and...
Yes. I thought, I'm glad that footage died.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Angeline driving around town in a pink Corvette?
Yeah. I have seen her a few times in restaurants and stuff like that.
I still see her.
Yeah.
I go to AM/PM in Hollywood. I'm like, there's Angeline getting gas.
I can't believe they give her a driver's license.
Yeah, she does pump her own gas. I don't know why, but anyways.
She's got like her pink, whatever.
Yeah. That was a great story, man. So, what other odd jobs have you had?
Oh, gosh. Well, before I did anything in show business, well, actually, when I got out of college, my first job, and I never talk about this, it was about a year and a half, there was a magician.
You don't talk about this?
No, I don't think I've ever talked about this.
This is the first time ever.
Part.
We have
is this
people,
a VO Buzz Weekly exclusive?
Yes, absolutely.
Nice.
It must be us because people say that all the time. They're like, I can't believe I told you that. I've never talked about that in my life. So
It was an interesting time of my life. I got out of college. My degree was in broadcast journalism. I came home. There was a guy from Hollywood that was in the hospital in my hometown in Kansas. My doctor said, well, there's this kid getting out of college, wants to go into show business. Yeah. They called me one night. I was with my girlfriend at the drive-in theater, and we were watching the picture.
Of course.
And my mom drives up. Bill, they called.
Oh, that's like your worst nightmare.
You're at the... Hi, Mom. What's it? They called from Hollywood. They want to talk to you. So okay, we left.
And she still didn't know you were talented, right?
Yeah.
Before she knew she was talented.
And it was this guy and he worked for a company, Mark Wilson Productions. Now, Mark Wilson is a magician. He's like on the board of founders of the Magic Castle here.
Yeah.
He had a show called The Magic Land of Alakazam. He was Bill Bixby, the magician. He did all the magic. And He had a company out here. Guy that worked for him was in the hospital from my hometown. They needed a guy hired. And so I left the movie, and I talked to him, and they said, well, we need you to come out to L.A. Okay, when? Tomorrow. Okay. So I packed up from Kansas, came out to L.A. because I wanted to be in Hollywood, and said, well, you're going to be doing a puppet show. I said, well, I don't do puppets. I've never done anything like that. He says, well, it's sponsored by Burger King. It's like they got a traveling show that goes into public schools near a Burger King. It's sponsored by Burger King, so you do a puppet show. It's on fire safety or something. You talk to the kids, and hey, this is how the puppets work and stuff. Then give them all a free hamburger card so they go to the nearest Burger King.
Right.
Oh, that's great. Well, you're going to be doing that in New York.
What?
And I said, well, I'm not doing anything. Okay, when do I go? Now. Same day I flew from Kansas to LA to New York.
Oh, my word.
Trained for 30 days up there, and I had to drive around the Burger King Royal Puppet Theater. I had to book these shows into a school near a Burger King in all 5 boroughs, southern Connecticut. Oh my gosh. I did block parties on a Friday night in the South Bronx. I had kids ask, like, what's the street value of the puppets? And questions.
Oh, no.
They didn't tell me that they hired me on such short notice because the guy in New York had his throat cut out on a job in a rough area of the Bronx.
Yeah, that would be something that you'd
They
probably leave
failed
out.
to tell me that when they hired me. I did that show in New York for about 6 months. They moved the show to Houston. I did it there for 6 months, and they moved the show to Dallas, which is, I did it there for 6 months and then left the show to get into radio, which I started in Texas and then moved around. That was a very strange, thing.
So Bill's going to do a little puppet for the show.
Now, it's interesting. They had a taped show. I didn't even do the voices.
Right.
It was like Casey Kasem was the Burger King, June Foray was the Burger Queen. It was on a reel-to-reel tape, and I did the thing to the songs and stuff like that. And it was created by the guys that did all the puppets for Disneyland, so there's really a high-quality show.
So
and
there
it was free
were
to the
high
schools.
street value, those puppets.
Yes,
Yeah, you could have gotten some.
But you don't tell the kids that.
Yeah.
You know, they'll be out at the
See,
truck.
so you earned that first gig as Goofy.
Did I earn that?
mean, you took your life in
And
your
then
hands, and you were Ronald Reagan. Come on.
My gosh, radio. I saw tornadoes. I've been reporting on those. I got hit indirectly by lightning once.
Oh, well, that explains a lot, Bill.
Yes, it does. I was on the air one night. Lightning hit the tower, and right through the board, knocked the station off the air, and enough came in the station that it,
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah, we did a lot of wild things in those days. In the stand-up, my gosh, remember Bossier City, I saw a good old-fashioned Wild West fight break out in the middle of my comedy. You know,
You're like, people, I'm trying to tell my jokes here.
And so,
did it have anything to do?
I did right there. I actually did. And in this corner, Ali coming out against Foreman. It's Ali. Foreman's down. That's the thrill. I mean, what do you do when someone...
That's your improv skills at work.
Man.
Very good, yes.
That's what you do.
Yeah, comedy just, oh my gosh.
That's hilarious.
That was a wild time.
Have you thought about writing a book?
I should. People have asked me if I should. Yeah, and
You should.
before I forget all this stuff, and I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I should write it down.
You should, man. Nowadays
now
it's
people
easier
know
than
this
ever,
stuff.
right?
Yeah, you could do an
You can
e-book
dictate
or...
into a thing, and like a software writes it for you.
Yeah, it's getting
Yeah.
me. I
It's
got
like,
to do
wow,
that.
really?
I got to do that.
No,
Maybe
it
I'll
would
write
be.
one
I
tonight.
mean, because it's such an interesting, just the span of your career and your experiences. I mean, I think it's fascinating, but it's timeless because it's a human story, and
And
so-
everybody's path is different. That's another thing that people say. How do you get into voiceover?
Yeah.
You ask 10 or 100 voiceover actors how they get into it, you've got 100 different stories. There are commonalities.
Right.
You got to have talent, perseverance, a little luck. There's a lot of luck involved as well. Being in the right place, right time, with the right set of skills. But everyone's journey is different. And that's what's so cool about it, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, if everything was the same, it's like it'd be kind of
wouldn't
like,
be that
I don't
fun.
want to do that.
Pretty
No,
boring.
I don't want to do that.
yeah.
The journey is the goal. It's fun doing it.
And if you think about it like that, then you actually get to the end of the journey, which is cool.
Yeah, a lot of fun along the way.
Absolutely.
What do you still, after all these years, love about being in the business?
just you get to be a kid. You don't have to grow up. You can be a kid forever. You can create. We're meant to create. And my weird mind comes up with stuff to play, to be a kid, to just enjoy life, to get as much out of it as you can, as you're only here once.
Yeah.
I can either sit home and watch television, or I can get out and do some fun things, and I'll enjoy it a lot more if I do more things. So I want to do it all. I've done not too much on camera, but if you ever see the original movie RoboCop, I was in that.
Oh,
I did that back in Dallas.
Were you the RoboCop?
No. That was Peter Weller, but I did that in Dallas.
You can imitate Peter Weller, but you were not Peter Weller.
I wouldn't want to be him. That's also why I wanted to be a voiceover actor. We did that in Dallas. When we shot, it was August. It was about 2 in the morning. It was still about 95 degrees. Peter Weller,
humidity.
after every take, they'd have to blow air up his sleeve so he wouldn't faint.
Oh, God.
And now I get to sit in a nice air-conditioned studio. And yes, I remember back when I was outside.
Okay, so now we heard through a very reliable source
Very reliable.
something about a creature named Walter.
Well, yeah.
Tell us about Walter.
My wife told you about that. No,
Yes.
it's just the last couple of days, this pigeon has adopted my house as its own.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It is just...
In the house?
No, outside. And it sits on the telephone wire.
Yeah.
And so I decided to put a little bird seed out for it. Now I can't get rid of the thing. It sits there and it waits for our
Thanksgiving
dogs
dinner.
to not come out.
Sure.
Because we have a swimming pool and I got a fence, so I locked that so the dogs don't come out.
The birds don't.
Yeah,
know.
that bird. But it's the weirdest thing. It's this little pigeon that just has decided that our house is great. And so it just like hangs around there. It sits there for 8 hours a day.
Wow.
Won't
And it's
go
not
away.
injured or anything.
No, it
Just-
flies down when I put the little water out for it and little bird seed and stuff, eats that. Just kind of stays under the table. You can get like within 3 feet of it.
Wow.
And it's been there for the last 3 or 4 days. We have all sorts of weird pets at our house.
Wow.
I have an iguana that's 19 years old. I have
Wow.
a turtle that my son brought home. It was the size of a quarter, and now it's about it's large, Miss Pokey. And we have 2 dogs. Yes, Goofy has his own dogs. I write
Excellent.
them off as research. Have a half black lab, half pit bull named Boo that's scared of everything.
Aw.
And I mean, a balloon will scare it. It's like, and another one we call her Roxy, our terrierist. It's just
Terrierist.
it's kind of a Westie mix. They're all both stray animals we got at Pounds.
Yeah.
Good for you. Thank you.
And she's great. She's great too. But she's the boss, And boss
Yeah.
is the pit bull
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. Yeah, those
That's
Westie
funny.
mix, they're
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they just
know.
rule
they're
the roost.
alpha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
Ask
I love
me.
it. Okay,
what are
so
your
we
nifty
just have
questions?
Okay.
we just have a little thing. Okay, so we're just going to give you a what if question.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
So if you just pick a
What if?
number between 1 and 122, I will open to that page and
Let's
ask you.
try
This is unplanned.
42.
42.
Whoa.
42. I am accessing that information right now, Mr. Farmer. Now, I would like you to pick a number between 1 and 4.
3. Uh-oh.
You're in trouble.
If you had to be someone's body part, what would you be and on whose body?
Whoa.
If
This
I had
is
to be a
G-rated
body
show,
part,
Mr. Farmer.
Yeah,
What
if I-
part?
But we
wow.
And on whose body?
What's the rating of this show? That
This
might
is a-
affect
it's a-
my-
We can edit this
It's
clip.
rated G.
This is G up to this
Kids
point,
watch
possibly.
this. Hi,
If I had
kids.
to be a body part, Einstein's brain.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Good.
Because I'm a science nut. I love science. I'd say about 80% of what I watch is like Science Channel, Learning Channel. I was going to be a biologist when I went into college, but I'm not that smart, and I have ADD. So
Yeah,
I
you were
couldn't- I was not-
daydreaming.
He's always daydreaming.
Talking like a dog is as close as I got
Yeah,
to
yeah,
a
yeah.
biologist. But I love those shows about, Morgan Freeman through the wormhole and those kind of
Yeah.
things. So I love that. And I just, God, I wish how did Einstein come up with this stuff?
I know.
Yeah.
And just having that enlightenment that he
Yeah.
obviously had, why he's like, he
That's
was
a
amazing.
good answer, Bill.
I like that.
That'd be cool, though.
You're on
just
your
to know
way.
all
You're
that
on your
stuff.
way, I think.
Einstein's brain on whose body?
On whose body?
Angeline? No.
We'd be
It's like, that's mostly silicone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think that would whose body? On, well, if I was at Hugh Jackman, he's a good
There
one.
you
Hugh
go.
Jackman, nice.
Yeah. Einstein's brain and Hugh Jackman. Hey,
it could happen.
Yeah.
I think we've just invented a new character for you.
Yeah, it could happen.
I think this is a new character for
I could be
you.
an also, I'm really small,
That's amazing. I love it.
Oh,
Thank you for being a good sport.
absolutely.
Oh,
man.
sure.
I have
That's a fun.
Thanks.
I got to get that book. That's
It's
fun.
That is
pretty
fun.
funny. I have here's a serious question.
Yes.
Yeah.
For you. What would you say to your 20-year-old self?
My 20-year-old self.
Yeah.
Party more. No. Enough of that.
Yeah.
I would say, don't take life too seriously. You just, when you're that age, everything, you go out on a date and you got a zit, and it's like, oh, I'm going to go kill myself. Don't sweat the details. Just don't worry what other people think about things. Just do it because you love it. Just just have a good time, because that's what we're here for.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Got to have a good time.
Do it because you love it, because that's why we're here.
Well, we had an amazing time with
Absolutely.
you, Bill. Thank you
I
so
had
much
a
for being
blast.
here.
Thank you so
I
much,
had a
man.
We don't want to
blast.
let you go.
Yeah.
I don't have to go.
Well, you don't have to go.
Well, let's get
but-
some pizza and we'll have.
That's
There
right.
you
Watch
go.
some movies.
We're going to let you guys go, and we're going to have some pizza with Bill. How's
That's
that? We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for watching. I had a blast. I hope you did too. Come back and see us real soon.
Well, that concludes our segment with our good friend, Bill Farmer.
He is so great.
We love Bill. So
we
cool.
do.
Absolutely.
Hey, you guys, send us your raves and make comments on our blog. Plus, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest at VO Buzz Weekly. Take care until next time, and just remember, you always have time for a little buzz.